I don't know. Don't pay no attention to the way I look tonight because this is how I look tonight. Okay? This is just how I look tonight because this is how I feel. I'm just sitting here doing some pins. But I'm coming on because of Miss Dusty, who inquired to see how I was feeling. And actually, I told her that I would try to come on this evening. Even though I don't feel like it, but I wanted to come on because she was kind enough to inquire about me. And if you're looking, Miss Dusty, because I can't see who is watching, but if you're watching, I did tell Rhonda what you said, and she was so happy. She actually got on my case today and told me that I need to be consistent in going live, but she don't suffer with what I have, so she doesn't know how hard it is sometimes to prepare yourself, not only physically but mentally, to actually want to go on live. Because hope you guys can hear me because I have it sitting up on my thing. Because when you're dealing with chronic illness, when you're dealing with chronic pain, you just don't feel like being bothered. And sometimes it's such an effort to prepare yourself to go on, even though you're sitting down and you're just talking. And to some they might say, well, that's why is that so hard for you to just get on live and all you're going to be doing is talking. Well, that's not all I'm going to be doing most of the time is talking. But tonight I wanted to just get on to thank Miss Dusty because she inquired about me and how I was feeling since I hadn't been on in a while. And please note that when I do these disappearing things, it's not because I don't want to be with you all. It's just I don't feel like being with you all. And that's not a slight or anything against anybody. It's just how I feel. And again, when you're dealing with chronic illness, sometimes chronic illness just really takes over, and you have to pick and choose exactly what it is that you want to do. To me, if it's not an emergency and I don't feel like going live, I'm not going to do it. Because the more I press myself, the more stressed out my body gets. They'll make me even sicker. So I don't try to overexert myself anymore. I used to, trust me. Trust me when I tell you, I used to. But I try not to, let's say it that way. I try not to now, even though sometimes I do. But I try not to, but I want to be able to feel good all the time and not have so many delays in between my appearances online. I fought hard to get monetized. I fought hard for that. And as of now, I'm not even making any money on YouTube because I'm not consistent and I just don't feel like being on a lot of times. However, if you all will pray for me and keep praying for me and praying that God will, touch my body and give me the strength that I need to do this thing, then perhaps I could be on more. And I know that you guys, some of you all are really praying for me, and I appreciate that. And, maybe I just have to, change my mindset and say, you know what? Just go ahead and do the lives. It's just hard sometimes, y'all. Y'all just don't understand how hard it is when you're dealing with lupus and you're dealing with, it's not just lupus, it's fibromyalgia, it's neuropathy, it's, Now the doctors are telling me this is not new, but they stressed it. The last time I went to the doctor, I went to the podiatrist, and the podiatrist was like, ma'am, it's nothing that I can do for you. It's just absolutely nothing I can do for you because the nerves in your back and the nerves in your feet are so damaged. This is why it's hard for you to walk now. And she said, as a podiatrist, there's nothing I can do for you. So I'm suffering with my feet like so bad that the thought of me walking is stressful, because I know I have to walk to get from point A to point B in the house, because I'm on 2 stories, so I can't use my wheelchair in the house, and then there's nowhere else for my wheelchair to go in the house. My husband has his wheelchair. There's really nowhere else for me to go in my wheelchair, which is a whole other story. But so my point is that when I sometimes think about having to walk, it's literally so painful that I don't even want to go to the bathroom. That's how bad my feet hurt. And they swell, and when a doctor was poking my foot, I couldn't even feel it. And the condition is getting worse. So with having lupus and having these things going on with my spine, also having my lungs, I just don't feel like doing anything. And it's not that I'm giving up, it's just that I don't feel like doing anything. Literally, I'm doing it. Today is probably the best day I've felt in a few weeks. And I still don't feel good. Today just seems like it's a better day for me than it has been being. And it's just a lot. It's a lot. I'm trying not to be a punk. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. But I'm still crafting. I'm just not doing it on camera. Because when I don't do it on camera, I can sit how I want to sit. Like I didn't even feel like putting on my wig. I said, you know what, they can accept me as I am or just don't. So even sitting now, I have to make adjustments in my sitting. I can't even sit long anymore. But I get so tired of explaining myself. I get tired of explaining myself to people who I've explained this to before. Like, sometimes I feel like people think that I'm lying when I'm saying that I'm hurting. Like, I'm hurting. And I always feel like I still have to prove myself to people. And it's just hard when you have to deal with reality. And knowing that it's having the life that you're used to, and you got to live a life now that you're not used to, but you have to get used to it because it's your life. And yes, I'm a woman of faith. Yes, I believe God. Yes, I have prayed to God and asked God to heal me. Yes, I have done all of that. But I guess in God's time, the healing will come forth. And I wanted to come forth on this side. You know how some people say you get your healing when you die and you go over. I don't want to die to get my healing. I want to get healing here. But my condition seems to just keep getting worse. And at a point, you just feel like, you know what? I'm done. I'm not at that point right now. I have been at that point where I just want to give up. Realize that I still have stuff to live for. I still have things to do. And I just believe that God's not finished with me yet. But this is a part of my journey that I'm dealing with. And until God heals me, this is what I have to go through. Um, so it's sad for me. It's irritating for me. It's hard for me. Um, it's depressing for me. Sometimes it's fearful to me. And sometimes I just don't understand. But I guess this is my life. This is what, ever since I've been a little girl, even before I left my mother's womb, like the enemy's been trying to take my life. And now I just feel like it's a slow, I ain't take your life like instantly, but I'm still trying to take your life kind of thing. But at the same time, I still feel like if God didn't have a purpose for me, I wouldn't still be here. So if I go through these things, it's not that I'm a weak person. When I get depressed, I don't stay in depression long. But sometimes it's just hard for me. And I want people to know that people who have chronic illness, we can profess Christ and we can say that we're Christians and we can say this, that, and the third. But at the end of the day, we are real people with real feelings, and our feelings matter whether people believe us or not. That doesn't make me less of a Christian because I'm still dealing with my chronic illness. There's people in the Bible that God never healed. Paul never got the thorn out of his side. He talked to Jesus 3 times and said, if it be possible, he said, not if it be possible, he said, Father, remove this thorn from my side. And Jesus said, my grace is sufficient for you. My strength is made perfect in your weakness. And sometimes I feel like Paul, I feel like God is saying to me that his grace is sufficient for me. That whatever he has set out for me to do, I can still do it. But I have to do it with his grace. I have to do it with his power. I have to do it with his leading and with his guidance. I have to do it with his strength because my strength is weak. And I have to do it in his strength. I can't do it in my own strength because in my own strength, I'm not going to do anything. But when he told Paul, my grace is sufficient for you. My strength, God was talking about his strength. My strength is made perfect in weakness. My strength is made perfect in weakness. And I don't remember that all the time. I really don't. But I hear it resounding in my spirit so loud right now that God is telling me, and he may be telling you the same thing, that my grace is sufficient for you. I see what you're going through. I know the things that you're going through that you're not even telling anybody about. But my grace is sufficient for you. So, Miss Dusty, I'm glad that you messaged me because that allowed me to talk and get out how I'm feeling, but not allowing God to remind me that his grace is sufficient for me and that his strength is made perfect in my weakness. His strength. And I've seen the power of God in my weakness. I've been sick. My husband has been sick, and we've had preaching engagements, and we've gone to preaching engagements, and even as bad as our bodies were feeling, when we were up there preaching, we felt nothing but the power of God. So I understand how the power of God can work. I'm just right now in my humanity feeling what I'm feeling and sharing that with you to let you all know that I'm not trying to be inconsistent. I'm not trying to be this person. I'm just going through this stuff in my body right now when it's very intense and it's very painful. And I just don't feel like doing stuff. I want to get online with you all because I love each and every one of you. I love the way you make me feel. I love the fact that y'all make me laugh. I love the fact that y'all laugh at me when I do stupid stuff, when I can't figure stuff out. I really like that. That really helps me a lot. when I come live with you all. So those of you that pray for me, just pray for me that I will continue to be reminded that God's grace is sufficient for me. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna put it on my wall. I'm gonna put it around my house, so I can be reminded that God's grace is sufficient, and He's not left me. He hasn't forsaken me, or anything like that. But I just have to remind myself, like God just reminded me, that His grace is sufficient for me, and His strength is made perfect in my weakness. His strength is made perfect in my weakness, and as I said earlier, everybody in the Bible didn't get healed. Moses never got healed. He still had a stammering tongue. He had a thick tongue, and he couldn't talk. And no matter how many times they played the movie in Hollywood, Moses didn't talk like that. Moses had a stammering tongue. He had a thick tongue. And it was so thick, and he couldn't talk so much that God had to use his brother Aaron to be the mouthpiece for Moses. So he was never healed from that. It's not, the Bible never recorded that he was. Who was that? If my Jacob, was it? No, who was it? Jacob? Who God touched his hip? Like he was okay, but God touched his hip, and then he had a limp. And then the Bible never says that the Bible never says that God healed him from that. So you do have people in the Bible who had issues that were never healed. So does that mean that they weren't men of faith? Does that mean that they didn't trust God? No, it didn't mean that. It just means that they went through what they went through, and God used them while their body was still being afflicted. So I don't question people about their faith in God if they're going through a sickness, if they're going through some type of turmoil in their body, because that person can have faith, but for whatever reason it's not their season to have a physical manifestation of healing. And God will heal us in his own time. He will do that. And it's just me going through what I'm going through right now. I know you guys, I don't even know if anybody's on here because I really can't see without my glasses on, but I just wanted to drop in and say hey to everybody, because this is what I've been going through. So when I disappear, it's not me being lazy. It's not me just not wanting to do anything. It's just that I just don't feel like it. Most of the time, that's what my problem is. Or I'm so exhausted, I just can't do anything. So that's what it is. And I wanted to keep my word, because I said I was going to try to come on tonight. And I almost didn't. But I said, let me just go ahead on so I could talk to everybody who wants to listen and let you all know that it's okay to not be okay if you're not okay. And that I'm not okay right now. But I'm okay. That's an oxymoron. That sounds crazy. But I'm okay with saying that I'm not okay, because I don't feel guilt about saying that. And sometimes people make you feel guilty and tell you to lean on your faith and trust God and da-da-da-da. Child boo, I've been there and done that. But I'm human, and I'm not using my humanity as an excuse, but I'm human. That's how God made me. I'm human, just like you are. And sometimes you just go through so much, you just be like, you know what? Enough. And then I let myself have a breakdown. I let myself feel what I'm feeling. And then when I'm strong enough, when God's strength comes in and takes over and I'm able to do what I need to do, then I will. Other than that, I'm learning how to be okay when I'm not okay. I'm learning how to be okay when I'm not okay and not feel guilty about it. So that's where I'm at. And I just wanted to talk to y'all about that real quick. Since again, Miss Dusty had mentioned me and asked me how I was doing. So you guys, if Thanksgiving is coming up, I hope y'all have a great Thanksgiving. It'll probably be just me and my husband like it usually is. Maybe our granddaughter will be here. I don't know. But thank y'all for checking in on me. Thank y'all because it really makes me feel good when y'all check. I'm trying to see if I can find oh, here we go. Hey, my husband. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Queen of the Hustle. She said, I'm living with lupus. I've been extremely tired, no appetite, and I can't sleep at night. Girl, that night thing is horrible. My husband said, as you know, I not only... oh, wait. Oh, I didn't mean to delete my husband's... I hit that by accident. I was right. It was Jacob. Okay. Babe, I'm mistakenly because I'm trying to tap the screen because on the phone to tap the screen to see the message. I did not mean to delete your message. Please put it back on there. I didn't mean that. And my husband just turned 70, so he said cerebral palsy, and he's been dealing with stuff all his life as well. But he is an inspiration to me because I see him, and my husband don't complain, and he goes through stuff and he doesn't complain. If he complains, you better know for sure he just can't take it no more, and he'll call the ambulance on himself. But you know, we are a unique team, and he is really an inspiration to me for seeing somebody who literally, I see him literally suffering every day. But, you know, God is his strength too. So I probably missed a couple of people in the Bible that had something wrong with them. But it's okay. So I'm okay with not being okay. And I hope that makes sense to whoever's listening. And again, thank you for tuning in. And I know I look crazy, but this is how I look when I'm home and I don't feel like being bothered. I don't put on makeup. I don't feel like doing all of that and putting on hair and all of that. I did my hair today so that when I wear my wigs, they can stay on my head instead of falling off like it tried to do yesterday. But God is still good no matter what's going on. God is still good, and we just have to know that and trust that and just be cool. So I'm working on another pen. I got several pens that I've already worked on, but I'm working on this one right now. It's blue and green. And I think I'm just going to leave this alone for this evening and work on not work on anything else. I'm just going to rest because I'm tired and I did nothing today, but I did work on some pens. But I'm going to just lay down and look at TV and do nothing. That's what I need to do. And that's what I'm going to do. So prayerfully, I'll be back with you all sometime this weekend. And I'll be doing a craft. I won't be talking about my little boring life and my illness or whatever I'm going through. I'll actually be on crafting. If it's the Lord's will, I will do that. But we love you, Miss Dusty. I hope you see this video. And to all of our subscribers and our cyber friends and our friends, those of you who have really touched my heart and really have become like family to us, thank you so much. I appreciate you more than you know. But keep praying for me. Keep praying for me. Don't stop praying for me. Just keep praying for me. All right. God bless. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. Ooh, child. Uh-oh. Oh, now when I'm getting ready to get all 4 people come on, I know y'all looking at me like, I like that, what you put on there, Gerald. That's cute. All right, guys. Peace and blessings.